All right, let's dive into a really powerful idea from productivity legend David Allen. We're going to talk about how to manage the absolute chaos of modern life. And here's the secret. It's not about working harder, it's about thinking in a totally new way. The end game, achieving this incredible state of relaxed control he calls a mind like water. But first, let me ask you something. Does your brain ever feel just full? You know, like a computer with way too many tabs open? You're trying to get one thing done, but all these other reminders and worries are constantly popping up, just bogging you down? If you're nodding your head right now, then you are definitely in the right place. So, let's get right to the core of the problem. You see, most of us are using our brains as an office. A really, really bad office. It's our filing cabinet, our calendar, our to-do list, all at once. And it turns out that is a terrible, terrible way to operate.
David Allen has this great term for it, psychic RAM. Think of it as your brain's short-term memory. Now, it's amazing for whatever you're focusing on right this second. But for storage, it's just awful. It has, and this is a key insight, no sense of past or future. What does that mean? It means the reminder to buy milk is screaming just as loudly in your head as that massive project deadline. To your brain, they're both equally urgent. And that's exactly why you feel so overwhelmed.
And this is what happens. It's crazy, but even just two things bouncing around in your head can create this constant low-level stress. Your brain just keeps nagging you about them because it's terrified you'll forget. It hasn't decided what to do yet. And that right there is a perfect recipe for anxiety and for eventually dropping the ball on something important.
Okay, so if our brain is a terrible office, what's the alternative? Well, this brings us to the goal, and it's a beautiful metaphor for what clarity and control really feel like.
This whole idea of a mind like water actually comes from martial arts. Just picture a totally still pond. Now, if you throw a pebble into it, what happens? The water reacts perfectly. It doesn't overreact, it doesn't underreact, it makes ripples that are exactly proportional to that pebble, and then it goes right back to being calm. That's the goal for our minds. Engage with things as they come up, with the right amount of energy, and then return to that state of calm readiness.
And this really shows the night and day difference, right? On the left, that's where so many of us live. Reactive, stressed out, our brains cluttered with a million reminders. But on the right, that's the mind like water. Responsive, calm, and because it's clear, there's actually room for new ideas. You're focused, but on the right things. I mean, which side do you want to be on? It's a no-brainer.
So, the big question is, how do we actually get there? Well, the very first step, and this is totally non-negotiable, is you have to get everything out of your head.
All that stuff that's taking up your psychic RAM, Allen calls them open loops. An open loop is basically anything that you said yes to in some way that isn't done yet. It could be something huge like launch the new website or something tiny like call mom back. It doesn't matter. Until you've defined what the next step is, they're all just vague stuff that's clogging up your mind.
This is such a critical point. Your mind is for having ideas, not for holding them. Think about it. As long as a task is just a fuzzy worry bouncing around in your brain, it's stuck. The energy you're wasting just trying to remember it is energy you can't use to actually do something about it.
So the very first action you need to take is what's called a mind sweep, a total brain dump. You have to get every single one of those open loops out of your head and into what he calls a leak-proof external bucket. This could be a physical inbox on your desk, a simple notebook, a notes app on your phone. Honestly, the tool doesn't matter. What matters, what's absolutely critical, is that you trust it completely. You have to know that you'll come back and deal with it all later.
Now, getting everything written down feels amazing. It's a huge relief. But that's only half the job. A big pile of notes is just another form of clutter. Now we have to build a system that your brain can actually rely on.
Okay, whoa, I know this diagram looks a little intense at first glance, but stick with me. Don't get lost in all the boxes and arrows. The whole thing, the entire system, really just boils down to asking 3 super simple questions for every single item you've captured. First, what is it? You gotta be specific. Is mom's birthday about buying a card, making a call, or planning a party? Second, is it actionable? If the answer is no, you have 3 choices. Trash it, file it away for reference, or put it on a someday/maybe list. But if the answer is yes, then you ask the magic question, what is the very next physical action? Not plan the party, but email my sister about party ideas. See the difference? That's how you turn these vague stressors into real, doable tasks.
So really, this whole thing breaks down into 5 simple phases. First, you collect everything. Get it all out of your head. Second, you process every item, asking, what is it and is it actionable? Third, you organize the answers. You put appointments on your calendar and you put your tasks on a next actions list. Fourth, and this is so important, you review your system regularly, maybe once a week, just to keep it fresh and trustworthy. And finally, you do. You actually engage with your work and you do it with confidence because you know you're working on the right thing at the right time.
So why bother with all this? Is it really just about getting more stuff done? About checking more boxes off a list? No, not at all. The real reward is something so much bigger.
Look, the true goal here isn't just about cranking out more work. It's about creating mental space. When your brain finally trusts that your system has captured everything, it gets permission to stop worrying. It can actually let go. And that gives you the freedom to be 100% present in whatever you're doing, whether that's a huge meeting at work or just reading a book to your kids. As Alan says, your power is directly proportional to your ability to relax.
And this is the beautiful side effect of all that mental freedom. When your mind isn't constantly jammed with reminders to buy bananas and call the plumber, it becomes this clear space where new ideas can actually form. You start connecting dots you couldn't even see before. You can't force creativity, it just shows up when you give it room to breathe.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. Please, don't try to go out and build this entire system tomorrow. That's not the point. Just start small. Right now, what is one thing? Just one little nagging thought that's rattling around in your head. Take 30 seconds, grab a piece of paper or open a notes app, and just get it out of your head. Write it down. Feel that? That little bit of relief? That is the first step. That's how you start on the path to a mind like water.